Pullman Moscow and Beyond with Jordan Vorderbrueggen, a podcast where we get to know interesting people here on the Palouse.
Welcome to the Pullman Moscow and Beyond podcast. My hope is to spotlight some of the most interesting people here on the Palouse, as well as some folks I've gotten to know from beyond our area. On our first episode, we get to know Kirsten Bell, owner of Palouse Balloons here in Pullman. So let's get into it. Tell me a little bit about where you grew up. Did you grow up in Pullman, or you grew up in the area, or what brought you here?
So I grew up on the west side. I grew up in Bellevue. And how I went to college here.
Okay.
And I don't really count that as the resident years, you know?
Yeah.
But then it's kind of all convoluted, but my dad is a pastor. And so he ended up relocating, he and my mom relocated from Bellevue to Pullman.
Okay.
And it was my senior year of college. And I made all these big declarations, as one does when you're 22, that I was leaving Pullman and going back to the west side and off to the big city. And I had been there for, 3 months. And came back to visit them. And my mom strong-armed me basically into going up to Mary Cellars to do a tasting. And then I met my now husband when we did that wine tasting.
Oh, wow.
And
So that was just, they had just moved, or?
They had been here for maybe going on 2 years.
Okay.
Maybe. Yeah, so they were pretty new to Pullman, and so it was just like weird. All this move to Pullman from the west side for school, move back to the west side and try to set up my life there, then come visit, and then end up finding the love of my life. and then I think maybe we dated for 8 months or something before I moved back to Pullman. Because he works at Schweitzer, and he was, I'm not leaving this job.
He had a pretty good gig.
Yeah. And so
were you guys in school together at the same time or anything?
No, we were 8 years apart.
Oh, wow.
So no chances of meeting in school. Yeah.
Nice.
It was just, but it was good. And then, so we met at Mary Cellars and then ended up getting engaged there. And then Patrick, the winemaker, was our best man in our wedding.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And now he's the godfather of our kid. And
cool. So you're probably on the Mary Cellars membership now.
Totally, wine club members.
So did your parents, were you guys a Wazoo family, or?
We were, and my parents had always wanted to retire here because they had just good memories, and we're a diehard Coug fan family.
Yeah. Okay.
Nice. We've had season tickets for my whole life, and would make every trip over for every game, and
nice.
Yeah.
So you were very familiar.
Oh yeah, I think I was maybe 8 or 9 or something, and we lost the Apple Cup, and I cried real tears.
You were indoctrinated. Yeah,
I am a member of the cult. Yes.
Nice.
Yeah, and when I would color, at restaurants and stuff, and they, have not very many options. And if it was a flower, then I'd have to make sure that I didn't do the middle yellow, and I couldn't do the petals purple. Because then purple and yellow would be touching, and that's
So you guys are diehard Coug fans. That's awesome.
Yes.
We just went down. My dad's 60th birthday was this year, and so I essentially gifted him a trip where we went down to the Ole Miss game.
Oh, fun.
So that was a ton of fun. And the Mariners made it to the next round of the playoff on Friday night, and we were watching the game with a bunch of Coug fans. And then the next day we went down there. There was I think it was 32-point spread. And then they ended up losing by 3. So the Cougs played really, really well.
They played so well.
Yeah. So that was a once in a lifetime experience for sure. Really cool.
We turned the game on, and it started at 9:45 our time. And it was just, oh gosh, I don't know if this is how I want to start my day.
Yeah.
Because we were really expecting, not expecting.
No.
But they
number 4 team in the country.
Yeah, they played so well. I commented on a few things because I hope that even though they lost, they feel so proud.
Oh yeah,
because they played.
Definitely, all the fans there felt like we won.
Yeah,
Well,
in a way, we did.
Yeah. Nicest people. They're probably not like that towards LSU fans and things, but I think we had stayed in Memphis, and then got down there at 8 a.m. and left by 5, a couple hours after the game ended or whatever. And probably 15 people came up and just thanked us for coming.
Oh, that's really
and it's
sweet.
just like, you don't get that.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever thanked an opponent for coming to the game.
No.
You know what I mean?
Maybe we
but
should.
Just that Southern hospitality, I think, a little
Yeah.
bit. But
I think we could probably learn some lessons from that, though.
yeah, for sure. Yeah. So is your dad still a pastor in town then, or?
He just retired in April.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Which church was he at?
he was at Trinity Lutheran in
Okay.
Pullman.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. So he kind of just made his retirement transition to make it so he could come to Pullman.
I think it was unplanned. Yeah, I think it was because they had asked him, from my understanding, a few times. And he was, no, I'm feeling pretty good about the congregation that I'm at in Bellevue. And then it was maybe on the third time, and he was like, I'll come over and I'll interview, and then kind of fell in love with it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny when I find, and a lot, and these days I feel like there are more alumni looking to move to Pullman than ever in some ways. I mean, I feel when I first started in real estate, you'd hear of a couple, but now it's people are at least poking, when there's a game day and there's an open house, they'll swing by and say like, I kind of want to. It's funny how there's kind of such a strong nostalgia for Pullman, right? As a Coug alumni.
And I think even as not a Coug alumni, I think you're absolutely right about the nostalgia piece of it. And, a lot of people, especially when they met their significant other when they were at school. And I think there's definitely that piece, or even just, those are fun years. And so it's a natural pull, I feel like. But even when you're not an alumnus, I think Pullman is actually a hidden gem in a lot of ways, because we actually have so much more than people realize. And I remember when as I said, when I made all these big declarations and moved to Seattle, and I'm going to go to the art museum after work, and I'm going to do all these things. You can't. I would sit in 1.5-hour traffic to go 10 miles. And so I could not physically have made it from my job to the art museum before it closed.
Yeah.
And so then here, it doesn't feel like you actually have that much, but you do, because it's all so accessible.
And what I tell people too, because I tour a lot of prospective candidates and things like that, is that you also have to think about the things that you don't have to deal with, right? The traffic, having to have a security system on your house.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because there are so many benefits that aren't really the traditional things I think people think of. People are always thinking about things to do, right? But also you're close to Moscow, you're not that far from Spokane. If you're looking for some of those different activities, they're usually there. Some people talk about shopping, but it's a lot of these malls are dying anyway. Right.
That's true.
You're doing so much online. It doesn't really, some of that stuff just doesn't matter. It probably used to. I'm sure in the 80s in Pullman, it was a much more isolated feeling than it is today. So.
Well, and also with so many jobs being work from home, a lot of people are, I found a job at the university and my husband can work from home. And so then there's less of we have to find 2 jobs in Pullman. It's a lot more flexibility in that way too. When I was trying to convince my husband to move here, or not to move here, when I was trying to convince him to move from here to Seattle, I'm big into the arts and ballet and all that kind of stuff. And so I took him to the Nutcracker, and we were driving in traffic, and I was trying to really be, but it's going to be so great. It's going to be worth it. You'll see. And we literally were in the car for at least 1.5 hours. And I was like, but the thing is, you don't have this in Pullman. And he was, we could have already been in Spokane by now. Yeah. And I was, well, shoot. The whole argument just went out the door.
Well, and the performing arts venue in Spokane, it attracts major Broadway shows and all kinds of things. There's a guy on TikTok, and I don't know his name, but it's called Spokane Storytime. It's kind of interesting. He started to do some things down here too. And he did one about the performing arts. And at the time, I think it kind of went along with the World's Fair in the 70s or whatever. But for a long while, it was the main place in the entire Northwest that attracted some of those big, I think it was the first one that attracted Broadway road shows and things like that. So you can get pretty huge names. I saw Bob Dylan up there a few years ago, and I know Paul McCartney started off his tour in Spokane. So,
yeah,
I mean,
Lindsay Sterling, she's kind of, I guess, more niche, but I heard that she was just up there too.
Yeah.
Shoot, bummed I missed her.
Yeah.
That's awesome, but
yeah, my especially country music, I feel like is well represented in the area. I'm not a big connoisseur, but my sister and brother-in-law are, and they're once a year they're going to a pretty big name in Spokane. So yeah. And then of course we get, dads, and well, now they call it Parents Weekend, right?
Yeah, sure.
But they always bring big names into Pullman. So
yeah, they had Taylor Swift in 2007, 2008, whenever that was.
Crazy.
We won't get her again, but
yeah, I don't think that's probably going to happen again. But we can say we
We
did.
had her once.
Yes, this fly is just.
Yeah.
So, your husband works at SEL. How many kids do you have?
2.
Okay.
Yeah, we have
so tell me about your kids.
8-year-old Charlotte.
Okay.
And 5-year-old James.
Nice.
Yes.
And you're done. No more kids.
No more kids.
Yep.
Yep.
That's a good number. That's kind of what we're shooting for. We have our first is turning 1, actually a month from today. So that's, I don't think I can do the 3+ kids thing,
Yeah. Yeah. We had planned to have more, and then it just didn't pan out that way.
Yeah.
But I think it's one of those where the reality is good in however it works out. Cause I definitely have moments where I'm like, you know what? I think I might have not been very well suited to have more than this anyway. Cause sometimes the overstimulation and,
For sure.
So yeah.
When you have a decent gap between them, so
Yes.
you don't have little kids all at this, or really young kids all at the same moment. That's cool. They're at one of the local schools here in Pullman, or?
Yeah, so they go to Pullman Christian School.
Nice.
Yep.
And you guys like that?
Yeah, it's so good, and the class sizes are really small, which
that's a big deal.
Is definite benefit. And the teachers, I know that there's lots of amazing teachers at the public schools, and it's just nice to see teachers who really seem to genuinely care.
Well, with a smaller number of kids, it can help, right?
Yeah, speaking of overstimulated, I am not all the power to them for doing what they do, because that would be such a hard job, especially in the younger age groups. And
for sure. A lot of energy going on.
Yes, and classroom management. Ugh. But yeah, it's a really, really good school, and they're growing like crazy, which is fun for them.
Yeah.
To have that success.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you started a business a couple of years ago, Palouse Balloons. So tell me a little bit about it.
Yep. So I didn't really mean to.
Yeah.
It kind of happened by accident, which I'm sort of glad that it happened that way. I think I would have put a lot more pressure on myself if I had actually meant to, if I had had a definitive moment of, I am opening a business.
Yeah.
And these are my business goals, and this is my business plan, and had the whole thing laid out like that. I think it came just a lot more slowly and naturally than that. And it mostly was actually that I had gone through a few pregnancy losses.
Oh, wow.
In pretty close succession, and was pretty desperate to be happy.
Yeah.
And found out that when I was working with my hands and being creative, that really was helpful to me.
Okay.
And so then just kind of really fell into it by accident, but started to do garlands for friends and family who were having babies and whatever, just for pure fun.
Yeah. You were good at it, and you thought, I could help out. Yeah.
I was learning.
Yeah.
I would not say that I was good at it at that point, but mostly it was just a creative, fun thing.
So you weren't even trying to do a side hustle or anything.
No,
it was literally, I feel like I could help someone out. I'll do it.
It was
for
kind
birthdays
of like, and that makes it sound almost more, because it was 50-50. It was, my friend is having a baby. I would love to help them celebrate somehow. And also, this is making me happy in a time that I desperately need to be happy.
That's a really good way to start a business.
So, yeah, I mean, I think that the way that it happened was good, because then when I actually, again, accidentally really did start my business, it really came from a very good direction, because it was focused on truly bringing people and myself joy and celebration.
Okay.
So yeah, I think if I could go back, I wouldn't change the way that it all came out. It just was not a traditional route. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. What was your degree in?
Public relations.
Okay.
Yeah.
So did you ever feel, I'm kind of wasting this degree? Or do you feel any part of that has helped you?
I don't know. That's a good question, because when I moved back to Seattle, I was working at PR firms in Seattle, and I liked it. I liked the work of it. It's hard to know, because I guess my point in saying that I moved back over there was I learned so much more in my 6 months of being an intern, 9 months of being an intern, than I learned in 4 years of college, just being on the ground and all of that. I don't know how much my degree helps me, or that I tend to be drawn to marketing-ish things.
Yeah. So it's probably helped you a little bit with the marketing. And you've gotten it, so tell us a little bit about, you've gotten into some of the more corporate type gigs.
Yeah.
Which I wouldn't have expected, in thinking of balloon installations, that's even really a thing, but it does make sense.
I think it helps that balloon art is not what it used to be, you know, that it's not, there's so many more color choices, so many more options for types of installation. It's not, a circus. It doesn't have to be a rainbow walk under arch that you might think of in the 90s sort of thing. I think it also really helps that balloons are, generally speaking, a more cost-efficient way to cover a space than a lot of other things. If you tried to use flowers, for example, to cover the same square footage, that would be so cost prohibitive. Nobody could do that. Or I guess very few people could do that. So I think that lends itself well to that. Yeah. And I think just with all the different options, I've done balloons for SEL, for example, and they have been doing helium bundles for a long time. And I personally think helium bundles are fun, because it's almost maybe the nostalgia piece of it.
Yeah.
But helium is so expensive these days. That can be really tricky. And so our arches, garlands and stuff, those are all oxygen filled. So I don't really know what how things looked on their back end, but it basically came to, we can do this and it'll be at least the same cost and have more of a visual impact.
And have it more professionally done, right? I mean, would they have been doing that on their own, sort of, you think? They probably would have rented a helium tank and filled up a bunch of balloons. And Yeah, and then you get into that piece too, because I have heard from a lot of people that they ended up hiring me because in the past they had 3 or 4 people trying to learn how to do something. Yeah.
It didn't even turn out the way that they meant to, because it looks so easy when you watch a video of it. And then, and then as an employer, then you're looking at it and you're like, well, 4 employees not wasted because they were trying, but took up.
They're not experts in it, so they can't really efficiently work.
Sure. So then you have 16 hours of time that you've been paying people, and you didn't even get the result that you really want. And
absolutely.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I think I would assume that a lot of the corporate, groups probably like to kind of have services that are reliable and they know exactly what they're going to expect in something like that.
Yeah.
And I think I kind of see what you're saying with filling up the room, right? Because you have a big space, a big venue, and you have a really kick-ass balloon display. It's kind of a centerpiece. It's something where people feel like, oh, wow, they went above and beyond for this event. And you'd really probably have to decorate a ton to get the same effect otherwise, right?
Well, and that's what I found too with people who hire me for things like birthday parties and whatever is, it's often a lot of parents who are birthday parties are a lot of work.
Yeah.
And, even speaking for myself, I have to think about the cake and the, plates that the kid wants and table covers if you're using that and goodie bags and, and where are we even holding this party and what are we even going to do when they're, it's like birthday parties are a lot of work. And what I found from a lot of moms specifically is that they're like, if I know that you're coming in and doing the balloons, then I kind of don't have to worry about the other decorations.
Yeah.
Because where I would have gone to Target, or Walmart or whatever and tried to buy every single little thing in the section to try to match, try to decorate it. I don't have to really do that anymore. I can just the balloons, and that is enough to fill the space and make it festive. And
well, that's what I'm looking forward to when Ike has his first birthday next month, and you've said you'd do it because it's okay. We can get that, and then we can just get the other stuff and be done.
Yeah,
it's not this big thing where you have to feel you have to make it look special with a bunch of decorations. So.
Yep, it's really good. I mean, it definitely is a service that helps people be able to hopefully be more in the moment and actually enjoy the milestone that they're celebrating.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, you probably come into some pretty stressful situations, I'd imagine.
It definitely can be, depending on the event. Yeah, for sure. Especially graduations seem to be a very stressful time. And I can kind of get, there's a lot of moving pieces for them and
a lot of emotions.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even want to think about my kids graduating.
Yeah.
But lots of emotions. So
what percentage do you think the breakdown of birthdays, weddings, graduations, corporate stuff are you doing now?
That's a really good question. I would say that at the beginning it was more, it's actually one of my very first garlands that I ever did was for the Pullman Regional Hospital Foundation.
Okay.
They were extremely trusting of me. I had opened up basically my business to be, my business at the time was not a business, services.
Yeah.
To be, if anyone is interested, I could also do this for other people other than my closest friends and family, sort of a thing. And they, trusted me with their big gala.
Wow.
Yeah. Which I was incredibly stressed out about it. I put so much work into it because I need it to be what they want it to be. And so from the beginning, I did have corporate people who thankfully were willing to trust me with their events. But I would say that at the beginning, it probably was a lot heavier on the individual side. And it really depends on the season too.
Yeah.
Because graduation, for example, is very, very crazy.
I'd imagine.
I think at this time we are 70% booked already for June.
Wow.
So for that weekend, for
high school
graduations,
Okay.
And we have probably 25% booked for WSU graduation.
Wow.
So it's a real big, so obviously that's not going to be a corporate.
Yeah.
That's not true because I've gotten pretty into the university scene. And so I do a lot of college events for graduation now too. So it's kind of all over the place. I don't really know how to.
That's
a
great
good question.
though.
I should probably.
I'm
look
sure
at
it's
that.
it's anything else. It's word of mouth, right? But I know you have a good social media presence.
Yeah.
Are you finding, I guess again, what percentage or how many people are finding you on social media versus referral based?
I feel that's also a very good question. Probably something I should be asking is how you found me. I don't really know. I kind of see social media as a portfolio almost. That it's if somebody stumbled upon it, then they can see at a glance sort of what I can do.
Yeah.
And I mean, I definitely think that it's a good way for people to find me and have tried to, do what I can to make it so that somebody would. But I think the majority is probably word of mouth.
Okay.
I would imagine.
Yeah.
Like I said I should probably be asking people how they
Right.
how they found me, but
Well, what I've found in my business is a lot of times there isn't always a ton of heavy, I found you on Instagram, and so I want to hire you as my real estate agent, but it's one of many things, right? Where it's they saw you on social media, then they ended up talking to a friend and they already had the brand recognition when they talked to the friend.
Totally.
And it kind of the whatever you call it.
Yes.
It
totally.
like reinforced their thinking.
I think
right?
you're absolutely right. Because I know that so I'm doing balloons for WSU football for the last 6 months. And I know that they found me because one person had seen me on Instagram.
Yeah, that's cool.
And then had told the group about it. And then I think it was a good space of time though, and then they talked to somebody with WSU Athletics.
Right.
They had hired me before.
Okay.
And they had a, positive experience. And so I think exactly what you just said, it's kind of it all, especially in a small town.
Yeah.
Especially in a small town. I think that it all sort of organically does come together, but you have to have those multiple touch points.
Yeah. Well, and I think it creates legitimacy too, right?
Yeah.
Because if someone, even if they hadn't seen your stuff, but a friend told them about you, and then they go Google you.
Totally.
Then they're seeing the social media, they're seeing some of the reviews and things like that. And then it kind of backs up what the friend has said and just looks like a real business. If you have no internet presence in 2025, most people aren't really viewing you as a super legit business.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and Instagram is a really good and easy way to make that presence.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think definitely, yeah. But I think, it's the word of mouth is incredibly powerful. So I think it's something that should definitely not be ignored either, and different people have different strategies for how to lean into that. I think social media also has the feeling sometimes almost of it being a word of mouth thing. Because it is kind of a more intimate, sounds like the wrong word, but it does feel more personal maybe.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's how a lot of people are connecting, right? Yeah. These days, you're not necessarily having as many community events or in-person times where, probably a lot of your demographic are people with young enough kids to want something like this. Yeah. They're busy. So even if they see friends and stuff once in a while, sometimes they're just in their own world. And so.
Which I think is actually really sad.
Yeah.
I wish that it wasn't that way. And I think it would be awesome if local, entrepreneurs or business owners or whatever, if we had more opportunities to meet the actual people who are following us, and actually, I love it when somebody reaches out and they say something like, I've been following you for a year and I've just been waiting for a chance to have something. And I love that because then you actually get to meet them in person. They are a real person, which sounds dumb. Obviously they are, but
Well, it's crazy because you don't know who's watching your stuff, right?
That's
true.
A
lot of times I've found people say similar things and they've never liked a post. Maybe they followed me or something like that, but a lot of times I came up on their feed a bunch of times and all these apps are designed to be addictive now.
Oh yeah.
So you don't really even have to follow someone or anything and it still shows you them.
Yes.
And so I've had that where it is kind of odd. I have no idea who you are, but you've said you've been watching my stuff for the last couple of years. And it's just, which encourages you to keep making content, right?
Oh yeah.
Because you just never know as a business owner who's watching.
Well, and like I said, I think that, because I said before that it is for me more of a portfolio. And I think that personally takes the pressure off too. For, sometimes it can be really easy to get in your head and, oh my gosh, this post got 16 likes, what the heck? And then I don't know why, but then that will be the post that then I have 5 people who are, this one thing that you did, that's the thing that I want you to do again, from my event. So it's a really good positive reinforcement that people are seeing
it. Just put the content out, right?
Exactly. Even if they're not necessarily liking it, even if you're like, that was a flop, it has it's not representative of that you did a good job or you didn't do a good job.
Right.
Which I think it's really easy, at least for me, to mentally wonder.
Oh, yeah.
Like, what happened?
Should I do something different next time? Or
Did I post at the wrong time? There's so much stuff, and and you're, as a business owner, bombarded with, take my special course on what time you should post and all this, and then you're like, oh my gosh, I need to be focusing on this.
Yeah, I don't think it matters as much anymore in a lot of ways. These algorithms are gonna show people what they think they want to see.
Totally.
You almost don't have as much of a choice
No.
anymore, especially for the video stuff. But
Yeah.
I think you have some really cool, just visual. I mean, what you do is so visually appealing. That makes it nice,
Yeah.
right? You probably don't have to feel you have to really think through all the time, what am I going to post? You're just kind of building that portfolio, right?
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I try to, putting my face out there is not something that I'm, different people have their strengths, and
Yeah. Well, you're
it's
doing
just
it right now.
Yes. Yeah. It's just not where I am naturally, I didn't choose broadcasting for a reason.
Yeah.
When I was doing PR. But I think it's really important to be showing your face because it is a more personal thing. And so I've been working on that, showing more who I am. And it is important. People are inviting me into their really special moments. They're inviting me into their homes. So I think there's a level of comfort knowing, oh, she looks normal.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
She seems like somebody we could
Trust.
and
Are you doing all of the jobs now? And do you have a plan to kind of scale that up with other employees or anything like that? Or
I definitely have plans to expand because I think I just have to at this point. I have been kind of straddling this balance of how long can I keep doing this by myself? And then how long can I do this by myself while also being present for my family? And so I'm definitely at this
kind of crossroads.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've had friends pop in and help me, when I am scrambling, and you don't have to do any of the actual art piece of it, but I just need you to sit on a machine and blow up balloons for me.
Wow.
And I have awesome friends, and they've been willing to
step
in and help me. And my husband technically is co-owner of the business with me, and he definitely helps me a lot with, big pieces that I should probably not be trying to move by myself. And
Right.
And
is he involved in any of the other stuff? Does he help with the books or anything like that? Or
no. Yeah.
He's got his own full-time job.
He has his own full-time job that's already more than a full-time job. Yeah.
Yeah.
So no, not really. He is definitely, I definitely use him as a sounding board a lot. But no, nothing else that's really actually hands-on involved. Yeah, mostly just helping me when I'm...
Yeah, when you're swamped.
Yes. The marquee letters, for example, that I have wood marquee letters that I can do WSU or U of I with.
Oh, nice.
And those are popular, and they are heavy. Yeah. And the I can do that by myself. The S, I can do that by myself.
Yeah.
And then I have the W is heavy and awkward, and
That's so funny. Yeah. That you know which letters you can carry and which ones you can't. Yeah.
But I'll literally block off on his calendar and be moving W. I can't do that. Yeah. So no, he's super helpful and also really, really supportive, which...
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You need that, right?
You do. I mean, entrepreneurship is not for the faint of heart. And like I said, I fell into this. I didn't mean to. But I am definitely glad that I have, him for sure, but also friends and family who are supportive of me as an entrepreneur, because it can be very lonely.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
I agree. I mean, for us, there are other agents doing the same job we are doing, but I've found having those kind of friends in the industry is a big deal, because sometimes you just need someone to talk to.
Yeah.
Have you found any other kind of entrepreneur type people that have been kind of like a sounding board for you? Or?
Yeah, so I have been lucky enough to connect with, she's in Spokane, but she's a balloon artist up in Spokane.
Okay, nice.
And that's been really wonderful, because she's, it's somebody you can text and be like, this isn't working the way that I thought it was going to. And like, do you have any advice on, have you ever done this before? Or things like that. And she actually came down and helped for bid day.
Oh, nice.
For WSU bid day this year, which is just fun. It's just fun to feel like you're doing it with somebody and somebody who she already knows what she's doing, you know? So it's just, that's really fun. And Casey Bates Creates is a cookie artist in the area. And she and I kind of have developed this friendship, sort of, I guess as friendships do by accident.
Yeah.
But because we're all in the same industry and, you know, the event party industry.
Yeah.
And kept kind of crossing paths. I'd be coming in to set up balloons and she'd be dropping off the cookies and,
nice.
You know, and then it turns into maybe we should get a glass of wine sometime and actually get to know each other. And
that's very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Having someone in your industry or having multiple people in your industry is a big deal, I think.
Yeah.
It's just tough there's probably times where you talk to your husband or whoever about something and you're like, yeah, you're just probably not really understanding my struggle.
No,
right now,
and no matter, and even my really close friends, no matter how much they want to and are willing to and want to sit down and, you know, but I don't understand what they do either. But it can be hard to find people who really intimately understand the entrepreneurship struggle. Yeah.
It's a totally different world, and I have so much respect for people who do it and take the risks. I mean, especially, you know, a lot of people, if it's their only source of income, and it's pretty crazy to just have kind of all your eggs in one basket and go for it. So
it's really impressive when people do that. I have a friend, and she just opened up a horse riding kind of academy, I guess, program in Pullman, and she opened up her business, and she's 25.
Yeah.
And I'm continually impressed by her that she has the, I don't know, the confidence that, you know, that's at 25.
Yeah, it takes a lot of drive. I mean, I think part of it's probably how you're wired, I would think, but I've been impressed by some younger people too. We had a girl named Hannah Dubine, shout out to Hannah in Vancouver, Washington, who's a real estate agent and has just completely blown up down in that area. She was actually interned at the office I was at her senior year at WSU. And was like, I'm gonna go into this industry. I'm gonna move to a town I've never lived. My boyfriend's family's from there. Those are the only people I know, and has totally just done amazing. But just has an incredible drive, right? And you have to have it. I don't think you can really be successful owning your own business without just a huge amount of get up and go every morning. You know?
That's so true.
So,
and I think that that's also where, like, that I did it by accident. I think the fact that I actually genuinely really love it is a huge part of the drive.
Well, it's big risk, big reward, right? The rewards are pretty amazing. And when you wake up and you're like, you know, if I didn't want to do something today, I could totally probably get away without doing it. You know what I mean? That's pretty powerful to not have someone who's telling you have to do, right? There's no one saying, well, you're maxed out in June, but our investors want us to make more money this quarter, so you're going to have to work overtime and take more jobs, right? You have the power to control your business. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome, and it's also scary because sometimes I do wish that I had somebody being like, this is what you should do.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I do and I don't. But there are definitely days where I'm like, if only I could just go sit at a desk and be told what to do.
Yeah. Yeah. Just having the 8 to 5, shut it off, you know, type of thing.
But I think you're very right about that people are wired for different things, because I definitely think that my creative side of my mind is a lot better suited for something where I can...
You're probably excited about going to work every day, most days anyway, right? You like doing it and it feels good to accomplish. And
well, and the nature of it is it's very few times that you're doing the exact same thing over and over and over again. And even when you do, there are slight changes to it that make it still fun and exciting, you know?
Yeah.
So
That's awesome. So you talked about work-life balance, kind of making sure you still have time for your kids and that type of thing. What are some of the things you've done to try to still have that family time?
yeah. Well, I've had to be a lot better about my scheduling, planning, because you can't really just fly by the seat of your pants sort of thing. And, you know, for example, my daughter does dance at Sanctuary.
Yeah.
And seeing her performances is utmost importance to me. And so last week or the week before, I reached out to the dance director because people were starting to book me for December for holiday parties and whatever else. And I was like, I don't need to know the specifics, but I need to know what days they are to be able to just completely block those days off on my calendar. And I did the same thing for her performance in May.
Okay.
And yeah, so just kind of have learned that I have to be way more on top of it, because if I accidentally book somebody on her performance date in May, I'm doing it, you know. I'm not going to back out on something that I committed to, but it would be just really sad.
Yeah.
So
you don't want to miss those moments. There's only so many of them. And
Yeah,
I think that's really smart. For myself, planning and putting things on the calendar was never something I did before I got into this career. I think that I have some level of an aversion to it, right? But realizing if I want my life to operate, you know, in a more sustainable way, you have to.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
That's a big
And
deal.
especially when we talked about when you are a one-person show, and I don't have somebody else that I could be like, you know, oh, well, they can just do this install.
Yeah.
You know, hopefully someday that would be wonderful.
Do you think that'll be in the next year or?
I don't know how that'll look. Yeah, I don't really have any exact plans, or I'm working right now on getting feelers, and I have a few people who have come and tried it out for a few hours.
Like a part-time help.
Yeah, and part-time help, and just seeing if they even like it. I think balloons is kind of this random thing that people either seem to be, this is great, and it like scratches my creative itch. And then there are people who are like, I absolutely despise this. And I think a lot of people don't really know which camp they actually fall into until they start doing it. Yeah, because a lot of people who hire me are, I tried this one time and it was a certain layer of hell. And so we would much rather hire you to come in and do this. It was terrible.
So there's probably a lot of people who wouldn't like to do what you're doing.
From what I have heard from the majority of people who have hired me is, I did this once. It was awful. I never, ever want to do it again. And so I am so glad that you're here. And which is just so funny, because then for me, it brought me out of my dark place. And I, needed it for my happiness. And so it is just funny that it has such different effects on people. And,
well, we're all just different, right? I mean, I find that a lot of times, a lot of people think, and not to say, I don't mean to sound arrogant saying this, but a lot of people think they want to become real estate agents. I think it's 90% of licensed agents quit within the first couple of years.
Wow.
You see things on TV, it's showing houses, it's this or that. How hard could it be? Oh, my experience felt so easy. But a lot of times we joke that we're really more psychologists than anything, because it's just keeping all of the emotions together, trying to advise people in what's usually the biggest financial commitment they're gonna take on. But it's funny sometimes when people think that, oh, this is just such an easy gig. Maybe I'll start doing that. But sometimes you try something and you realize, I don't want to do this. It's someone else, a professional, needs to take care of this for me.
Totally. Well, and you kind of touched on that people see on movies, and we talked about social media before.
Yeah.
But when you're watching somebody else do it, it does look really easy.
Yeah.
And then you're only seeing the 2 hours of whatever time that's actually customer facing, and the real entrepreneurship struggle is not that.
Or they're watching a fast forward reel of someone putting a balloon installation together and thinking, I could do that, but that's just a sliver of the business, right?
Totally.
So.
Yeah. And then your other piece about it being like more of a psychologist, because you were talking about how my industry is, I'm coming into a lot of stressful situations, but you are big time. That's a very high stress, or it can be at least, especially probably when I know that in my own little moments of working with somebody, as long as you're with the right person, it can be a lot less stressful of an experience.
Yeah, it's all about the client. And I mean, there's just a ton of factors that come in. Some are more financially capable than others. Some have had experiences that have been good in purchasing a home or selling a home before, and so they really know kind of what they want. But then you also get people who are first-time home buyers or first-time home sellers, and they feel a lot of anxiety because of just it being a big life event.
Totally.
So yeah,
it's something you want to get right. For
interesting stuff. Yeah, for sure.
Well, and I heard a quote, I don't remember where, but it was basically saying that everybody, no matter what you do, you're in the customer service business. And so it's the thing that they said was, you're in the customer service business and you also happen to sell homes. Mm-hmm. And I'm in the customer service business and I also just happen to do balloons.
Yeah.
And so I think that a lot of people, maybe, even touching back to your Southern hospitality comment at the beginning, a lot of us could really use the reminder that 90% of our job is the customer service aspect of it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and it's people, right?
Yeah.
I think that's one of the things that's kind of screwed us on social media and kind of the times when it feels like our country's divided, that, hey, these are real people and we can frustrate each other, but we're human to human and trying to kind of restore some of those connections and things.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's a real problem.
Yeah.
And even some of the reason that I have not wanted to show my face as much on Instagram, I know that I need to, but it's pretty vulnerable actually to open yourself up. If I show balloons, and then it's the balloons, and if I'm showing me, then it's me, and that's a very vulnerable thing to.
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of people struggle with it. I mean, I'm in a nationwide coaching network, and I have a coach that I Zoom with every couple of weeks and just talk through business strategies and things. We have these big conferences, and for years they've been preaching, get yourself on video more. And a lot of these agents are really just scared to do it. It's a daunting task to really put yourself out there, and especially not knowing who's going to see it and what the reaction's going to be. Are they going to write a mean comment about the way I look or something? It doesn't really happen that often, but
no, but it happens enough. And I think part of it is maybe it wouldn't happen on your or my platform.
Right.
Hopefully. I think it also scares people because, when we're scrolling and we see somebody who's a big influencer or whatever, and we see their post, and then we see all the really icky and just cruel things that people write on other people's. And then you're like, even if it never would happen to you, and hopefully it never does, but it makes you wonder if somebody would.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's enough to make it be like, I'm just gonna show these balloons, and that's a lot less scary. So.
Yeah, you're touching on all the points, but I think my advice always to people is just find a niche within it that you're comfortable with. Even if I think a lot of times we see how spectacular other people's social media is, and it's tough to get started because you're like, well, I want it to be perfect like them. I want it to be this where I'm giving advice on this and I'm talking about this, my family, and I'm doing. Think of one thing that you feel most comfortable and start with that, right? Because it's just sometimes about getting the ball rolling on those things. Out of the last couple of years when you've been doing this business, has there been anything that you think about just for people who might be starting in a similar business that you're like, I really wish I would have known that, or I wish somebody would have given me this piece of advice?
I guess my advice would be to find something that you genuinely, really actually enjoy.
Absolutely.
Because you will be in it by yourself, and like nobody is coming to save you, and it's going to be you in the trenches. And as an entrepreneur, it's not an 8-to-5 job. You know, I think it's always funny when I see the reels and stuff from other entrepreneurs who are, I quit my 8-to-5 job so that I could have control over my own schedule. And here I am at 2 a.m. blowing up balloons. Because it's, that's very misleading to think. And, you know, people will post stuff. Oh yeah, I can work from home and I'm working from a beach in Cabo. And it's, that's not actually, maybe they're 10 years down the road, maybe.
Yes.
But for the average person, that's not what entrepreneurship looks like. And so I guess maybe based on that, my advice would be find something that you actually genuinely love, not because you think that it's going to be a financial get rich quick thing, because I don't think most entrepreneurship is that way. Yeah. So that would be my advice. And then also really figuring out if you truly understand what entrepreneurship is. So I guess it all comes back to do it for the right reason.
Yeah. Know what you're getting into, but probably also just starting to do it, right? If it's something you really want to do, especially something like what you're doing, I mean, just start making the balloon installations. That's what you did, right?
Yeah. Just do it for fun. Don't have even a business idea. Don't listen to people who try to give you business advice. Oh, that's not true. Listen to people and take their advice, but don't get caught
Listen to
up
some people.
In it.
Right.
Yeah, sure. I feel like if you take it too seriously, then from the get-go, you lose the creative reason that you got into it in the first place. And if you kind of let things morph naturally the way that they're meant to, I think that your business model will kind of present itself almost to you. And I think another piece of advice that I would give is, you know, you were talking about seeing other people on social media and they're doing all this and it looks so cool. And I would also say almost don't look. Yeah. Don't look at what other people are doing. Stay in your own lane. You know, whatever is driving you, focus on that thing that's driving you, and just keep your eyes on your own road. Because it can be so, you know, I'll see this Florida balloon artist who does this really, really amazing thing, and it can really turn into quickly, I wish I could do something of that scale, and, you know, and then it actually takes you off the path that you're meant to be on. And it's not helpful in any sort of way. And so, I think that would be another piece.
I think that's really good advice. Limiting the comparison, right? I think it's healthy to have a certain level of competition. In our industry, we definitely have a lot of people who have a little bit of a competitive drive. They want to do more than the other person. But again, it's serving your clients, coming back to your path. You don't have to be doing the big grand things. And it might not be what you're meant to do or what you should be doing for your own work-life balance, right? Totally. If you're talking about these massive balloon installations that would take 4 times as much work and all of this stuff, you'd probably be able to serve fewer people and have less time with your kids, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So. No, and I think that, that's absolutely true. I think that if you are fueled by what got you into it in the first place, then you will end up being on the road that you were meant to be on, whether that looks like because I did not expect to be on a balloon artist road at all to begin with. So I think it's just kind of listening to the universe or whatever, and finding out, being open to the opportunities. Competition is a good thing in that it can, like, you know, keep you going, and also in a healthy way, encouraging you to grow and push yourself out of comfort zones and and things like that. But I think when it starts to be, that it's a distraction, then that's no longer serving you in any sort of way.
Yeah, when discouragement creeps in, well, if I made a video, it wouldn't look as good as that person, so I'll just not make a video.
Totally.
Right. Or since my thing's so far below the average I see on social media for balloon installations, why am I even doing this?
Yeah.
Or think people in Pullman are going to catch on that there are cooler balloon installations and some new young person's going to come in and you can just be super negative about it.
It can be. I see different people. So on social media, like South Fork, I don't know who is doing their social media, but whoever is doing it, kudos to you, because they're commenting on Birch and Barley social media stuff. They're commenting on meals and Roost and it's all these just really supportive, nice things, and that makes me want to go to South Fork.
Yeah.
And eat dinner.
Sometimes just putting in the effort.
Yeah.
Right.
But it just feels genuine, and I think that obviously there's competition for restaurants.
Yeah.
There's competition for everything, but they're coming, at least the social media presence is really coming from a place of we're all in this together, like sort of thing. And I think that reads, it's nice. It's pleasant to see that.
Absolutely. And we need it in Pullman, right? The last couple of years, there have been multiple things that have felt like big negative things. And we need as business owners or people kind of involved in the community to encourage and keep backing each other up as much as we can. So what's it like having a similar name to a celebrity?
Yeah.
So you're not Kirsten Bell.
I am not Kirsten Bell, thank goodness. That would be a real struggle if I was. So it's my married name.
Right. So it's not been forever.
Right. And when we first got married, I went to New York City.
And tell us how to pronounce your name.
Oh, Kirsten.
Yes, Kirsten.
But I do.
Kristen.
Yes. And that being said, I respond to any variation.
Yeah.
You can call me Kristen. You can call me Kirsten.
Yeah.
I don't care. I know who you're talking to. So it's not a big deal to me. But I went to New York City very shortly after having gotten married and was trying to make a reservation, I guess, for sort of a fancy restaurant, and was really confused because they kept asking me if I wanted a private room. And I was like, why would I want that? No, I don't want that. And just did not make the connection at all. And then, we ended up showing up and they were visibly disappointed.
I think they'd at least check the spelling. I mean,
it's true. And maybe because, people invert it all the time and whatever. I'm so sorry that you're disappointed that I'm not who you thought I was. Yeah. Can I still eat here?
That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's probably I'm sure you get random comments once in a while. But
at least I like her.
Yeah. At least she's not like some, scourge on the earth or anything.
That's right. That would be probably more of a challenge.
So how can people find you if they want to look at your social media or book an appointment?
Yep. So they can find me on Instagram, and it's Palouse Balloons.
Okay.
They can find me, my website is PalouseBalloons.com.
Okay.
So pretty simple. I am on Facebook as well. Same thing. Yeah. And then from there, I don't charge for meetings with people, so you can reach out and be like, I think I want to do something for this event, but I have zero ideas. And I actually love when there's the opportunity to meet in person. And see a space, and I have had people reach out, I meet with them, we see the space, and they're like, I've changed my mind, and that is 100% okay. You're allowed to change your mind, and I like that's one of my favorite parts of the creative process is the visualization and stuff. So I don't really see it as a waste of time or anything. Yeah. I see it as I got to meet somebody, and we got to make a connection, and I got to think about a space that maybe I would never have thought about before. And so it's all, valuable.
Part of the job. Nice.
Yep.
So free consults, you like people who communicate well. You like to be able to see spaces.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, thanks for being on the first episode of the Pullman Moscow and Beyond podcast.
Well, thank you for having me on my first podcast.
Yeah. We seem like we know what we're doing, right?
Almost.
So make sure to check out Kirsten Bell's Palouse Balloons. It's really easy to find her. I found just, if you can remember Palouse Balloons, Google it and you'll find her for your next event. So thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah.
This has been the Pullman Moscow and Beyond podcast with Jordan Vorderbrueggen, a podcast where we get to know interesting people here on the Palouse. This week's episode was hosted at the beautiful property Jordan has listed for sale, 1325 Southwest Panorama Drive in lovely Pullman, Washington. If you'd like to check out that property, visit panorama.pullmanmoscow.com. You can find new episodes of the Pullman Moscow and Beyond with Jordan Vorderbrueggen podcast at pullmanmoscow.com/podcast or wherever podcasts are found. MLS number 285344.